back to my channel. This is Heidi from My Reading Life, and I am in the middle of a birthday week vlog, which you have seen clips before this about things that I have been seeing and getting up to this week of my birthday, the week of my birth. But I did want to finally, come on here and so that you can see my face and I can talk to you about this book that I just finished, my first book completed for the month of October. This is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. This is a very popular science fiction book that lots of people have already read, and I have finally read it, and it was so much fun. It was such a fun book. So the premise is the book starts off, a man wakes up in a bed. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know where he is. Turns out he's on a spaceship, and he's the only person, the only human alive on the spaceship. And he needs to figure out why he's on the spaceship and where he's going and what he's supposed to do. This book takes place, this man in space, but we also have flashbacks to the before times. So you get his backstory over the course of the book, slowly, piece by piece. So there's like a mystery element of it, but it's also, very much in the vein of The Martian. If you read The Martian, you'll know that Andy Weir's characters tend to like MacGyver their way through the book. So that's exactly what happens in this book. There's lots of, figuring things out, doing science experiments, making things work, that sort of thing. And it's such a fun story. It really is. There's tons of, if you like, it's got a lot of science in it, but it's not like super hardcore hard science. Like I wouldn't call this hard sci-fi. I would call this much more of a, accessible than that. And it's very much like sort of high school science. Although there were parts of things that got talked about in here that I just, you just have to let that wash over you if you don't understand the concept. And I didn't spend a lot of time like trying to really delve down into the details, but it was a fun ride. And I will say also, for those of you who did not like the amount of swearing in The Martian, this book has very little swearing in it, which is really interesting because the other book was like the main character just swore all the time, and this character does not. So that was an interesting choice that Andy Weir made there, I think. Although, these two books have a lot in common. Although I will say this one tends to be a little bit more heavy on the physics, and whereas the other book, The Martian, I think, from my memory, was a lot more of the biology aspects of it, although there is biology in here as well. So yeah, I just had a really fun time reading this book. It is a chunker. It's like 475 pages, but I just flew through it. It's really easy to read. It's very much plot driven. So you're constantly turning pages. Super fun things happen, scary things happen. So yeah, I was very satisfied with this read. I'm glad that I read it. So I am also currently listening to on audiobook my first book for Victober, and that is Phineas Redux, I guess. It is book number 4 in the Palliser series. So I read and loved the Barset series, the Barset Chronicles. And I also read a standalone by him, The Way We Are Now, or The Way We Were, something like that. It's the group read for Victober this year. I had already read that book previously, so I figured I would just continue on with the Palliser series. I had already started the book 4, this Phineas Redux, and I figured I would continue on with that. So that's my audiobook right now. And I'm about 50% of the way through that. So yeah, I will come back when I have more to report. friends, I would like to wrap up this vlog by telling you that I finished another book this week, which I'm very excited about. I completed, sorry for the light there, The Silk Roads, A New History of the World by Peter Frankopan. I have been buddy reading this with Britta Bowler since September, and this is excellent history nonfiction, which I believe I've said before, but I just wanted to reiterate it. If you are interested to know history from a different point of view, from the Western point of view, this book really lays it out. It lays out how and why the region of Western Asia over to China is so important to world history, and how much different events that occurred because of commerce along these trade routes really impacted how history has turned out. It just so many things in here that were not issues or events that I learned about in school or I learned about in other reading that I've done. So I've learned a tremendous amount from this book. I think it's really excellently done. I'm really glad that we read this in sort of like 5 chapters per week increments, because it gave time for me to really think about the information that I was being given and read it slowly enough so that I could take it all on board. So highly recommend this. If you have not read it, I think it's a wonderful history nonfiction. I am also about 85% of the way done with my Anthony Trollope book, which is Phineas Redux, and that is book number 4 in the Palliser series, and I am very much enjoying that on audiobook. It is really good. It was very slow in the beginning, and I almost gave up on it. I was almost like, oh, maybe this will be my first Trollope that I can't get through, and I'm glad that I stuck with it because it has gotten a lot more entertaining. Although I will say that Phineas Finn is not my favorite Trollope character. I find him to be quite tiresome. So that's what I've been up to reading on this, my birthday week. I hope you have been up to some good reading yourselves. I hope you've been finding some great books to read. I hope you've enjoyed this vlog and the sort of fall scenery that is happening now all around me. Hopefully I will be coming back to you with another vlog after a weekend getaway that I am about to leave on tomorrow. So we'll leave that for later, and I hope you're all doing well. I'll talk to you soon.